The number one reason most people fail to reach their goals and are unable to create a kind of success or happiness they want in their life is not because they are not putting in the work. Okay, it's like they're putting in the work, they're doing the hard work, but they're not getting results that they want because they are not necessarily putting the effort in the right direction. And that is why having a vision, casting a vision for your life or your personal life or your professional life or your career, your business is so important. And our vision can really change and evolve with time and as we experience different things in our lives, as we grow, as we experience certain things. But having some sort of direction is really important, and it also depends on what season of your life you are in. So let's say if you are in your early 20s or late 20s, you might not be super clear on your vision. Okay, like I definitely was not. Okay, and I know many people who even in their 30s and 40s, like they came to this realization that they are doing everything, they probably have everything, but somehow at some point they start to feel, they start to realize that this is not exactly what they want, this is not the direction they have been wanting to go. And that is why it's so important to have the right vision. And I know that it varies from like one person to another, and we cannot really generalize these kind of things, but for a vast majority, from my own experience, what I have seen, what I have observed is that you also need a certain level of experience, and by that what I mean is you will need to go certain things in your life, like mentally, emotionally, in your personal relationships, in at your job, overall in your career, meeting people and all of that, right? And that is how you start to realize and start to connect with yourself that this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is the direction I want to go, and this is not the direction I don't want to go in, and things of that nature. So it does not matter whether you are like a teenager or you're in early 20s or 30s or 40s or 50s, it does not matter. I mean, self-awareness is important. Like if you are watching this and if you have been like thinking about what vision you have for your life, okay, and you have been struggling to understand, and if it's like you set goals and you work for them but then it doesn't turn out the way you wanted it to be, then this video is for you. So stay with me here, okay? We are going to dive a bit deeper into how to find that vision, how to create that vision, okay? But also before we get into that, I want to point out like a disclaimer. Having a vision does not mean that you will not make mistakes. Having a vision does not mean that you will not get off track, but it's like your North Star, okay? So anytime you get confused, you get overwhelmed, anytime you feel that you're off track, your vision will help you come back on track. Your vision will help you guide in the right direction. So and this is the number one reason why most people are not able to create that kind of success or happiness or reach some kind of goals, is because their actions are not aligned with their vision. And the reason I have spent first part of the video explaining what role vision plays in our lives, why it's so important, is because it really takes time. It really takes time to find those answers, to understand and define and redefine and get clarity on your vision. And I really want you to take time with this process, okay? So today I want you to kind of like brainstorm and like try to find answers, dig deeper into your mind, into your heart, into your soul, so that you can really know what your vision is. The vision is not like having fancy things on your vision board or writing some big affirmations or big things that I want this, I want my life to look like this, like the picture perfect thing. That's not a vision, okay? And also different people have different ways to set their visions, and I'll talk about that. And that's something really mind-blowing that came into my awareness. That's why I'm so excited to share that with you. But before we get into the exercise, here's what I want you to know. Last 3 years I have been setting the vision for the entire year, like in 2020, 2021, 2022. Okay, but this time around I'm setting vision for like 4 months in future. So let's say if we are starting now and we are filming this in November, so no matter what time you are watching this, we are going to set the vision for next 4 months. Okay, let's not go too far into the future. Okay, and if you have like a general idea, if you have something in your mind, like what you want your life to look like in next 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years, or 4 years, go ahead, do that, do you. But for this exercise, and if you are following along with me, I would highly encourage you to set a vision, to cast a vision for next 4 months, because 4 months is a good enough time to create a tangible change, to reach some sort of milestone that can help you shape your life better, that can help you feel better in different areas of your life. Okay, so that's why we are setting a vision for next 4 months. And also it gives you a sense of urgency, and that's why you are more likely to be aware of it and conscious of it as you go into your weeks, your days, and like at the end of each month and 2 months, you will immediately be like, I have 1 month left, I have 2 months left, and for this vision to come true. And your vision doesn't have to be like super huge. Okay, like we can divide that into different smaller chunks that are much more like achievable, you can say, right? So we are going to cast the vision for next 4 months, and here's what you are going to do. So the first thing that you're going to write down is where I am today. I have written this here for myself, where I am today. Okay, so I'll give you some examples. Now this is just a vision like for overall life that includes my work and every relationships and everything. Okay, so you can write anything that you want, and I like to write in bullet points. I think it's easier, so you can just write down in points. So I cannot tell everything, but I can give you some examples, right? So in where I am today, for example, I have written like I'm working right now on growing my YouTube channel. Okay, so that's where I am at. Okay, and the reason like we are going to answer these questions is because when it comes to defining your vision, people actually, and I have done the same, okay, we just jump to defining the vision. This is my vision. But in order to identify what really our vision is, we need to ask other questions around it, so that we really know that the vision that we're casting for ourselves is what we actually want, and if that's what's possible, or if that's going to give us the happiness that we want, right? All of that. So for example, I have written like I'm working on my YouTube channel, I'm trying to build like my own personal brand and all of that. Okay, and then I have written something like right now I have fluctuating energy levels, like physically my energy is very fluctuating, so that's what I need to work on. And I have also written that I'm grateful to be able to pursue my dreams and create like my own business and all of that. So it's not that you have to write all the things that you don't have. Okay, we just need to be honest, because as much as you would want to pursue new goals, there must be things that you have achieved by this point. Okay, there must be things that make you happy these days, there must be things that you're grateful for, so do not forget to write that. So also I have written like my morning and evening routines. They are like somewhat messed up these days, and I would need to work on that. So that's where I am at. So I've written something about like my business, a little bit about my health, and a little bit about like overall general how my relationships look like, and like that. Okay, so that's what you will need to write. Again, yours could be entirely different. I have just given you some example of what I have written. The next thing that you would want to write is what I want to accomplish by the end of next 4 months. And if you want, you can have numbers here. For example, I want to let's say have X number of clients in my business, or I want to finish this project, or I want to run a 10K marathon, or like whatever your goals are. But at this point, when you're casting your vision, if you have something like very clear, like number related to some of the things that you want, you can put that. But at this point, you can just like overall, right? For example, one of thing that I want to accomplish is that like having better skin and better hair. Also, I have a revenue goal that I want to hit in my business, and then of course I have some targets for my social media, reaching a certain number of subscribers and all of that, right? But also I have written that I want to feel like more calm and confident in myself. So that's what I have written. And then something related to like on the spiritual level, that what I want. So that's what I have written. So again, anything that you want to accomplish, you don't necessarily have to put in the numbers here, but like really ask yourself, okay, don't just write the ideal things. So like for example, like apart from my business revenue goal and my social media goal, they are all like personal goals. Like I want to be more organized and have like a badass work ethic. That's something I'm really working on, and those kind of things. Yeah, and I've written like to reach a healthy weight and have more sustained energy, so that because I have big goals, I am hardworking, but if I don't have that kind of energy, it's really hard to work. So that's what you can write here, like what I want to accomplish. Then the next thing you are going to write is how far I want to go. And this is really interesting. It took me some time to figure this out. Okay, so I've written this, how far I want to go. So in how far I want to go, what do you like when you look at the things that you want to accomplish and where you are at to reach to those goals, we are not necessarily writing like any strategy here or any action plan here. It's more of like the changes that you would want to make to your lifestyle, your eating habits, the way you work, the way you organize and all of that. So again, I'll share something. So something that has been like on the top of my list is waking up by like 5 a.m. Okay, this really is the domino of my life. Okay, if I can do this one thing, like 99.9%, my rest of the day is going to go as planned, and my rest of the day is like going to be the best it can be. That's what I know. Okay, and again, I have not written this because it's ideal. Okay, it might not be ideal for you, though waking up early is ideal for almost everybody if you're not working in night shifts. But again, that's a topic for another day. But I have experienced this again and again and again. I have experimented with a lot of routines and all of that stuff, and I always come back to this thing that if I can wake up early, and I have done that for months and I have missed that for months, and I'm getting back into that routine now. So that is one change. So you have to be super honest and really be self-aware. Okay, just look at your past experiences. Just ask yourself how much you can stretch yourself. Like if you have done something in the past, like how far you can go now in the next 4 months. And you have to be somewhat realistic, but also you will have to think in a way that pushes you a little out of your comfort zone. So I know that I have been able to wake up like 4:30 and 5 pretty easily if I can just sleep on time and if I have a good night's sleep. That's it. Mostly if I can do that one thing, I know it's possible for me, and also that's something I really want. So and there are other reasons why I want that, but as of now, that's what I can share. So that's why I know that I can actually do that. But again, it's a stretch for me because having a consistent bedtime, making sure that I'm having a good night's sleep, because I do love to work late at night sometimes or just chill. Okay, I just like that quiet time in the night, and I think each one of us likes that. Maybe that's why like when everybody is asleep, we want to be up and just be by ourselves. But if we can find the time in the morning, so again, What I mean is be realistic, but also be willing to stretch yourself a little bit. Okay, so that's one thing I have written over here. Another thing that I have written is it's like bit of unconventional, but for me, my environment is really important for me. So I'm very sensitive to my physical environment, my space, my work desk, my room, my kitchen, my home. It really has a big impact on how I think, how I react, how I feel, and we should not be ignoring, because like how some people say that what needs to be done needs to be done, okay, and what you're feeling about it, or like don't be in your feels. To some extent that's true, but I would say, like, if there is a possibility for you to make yourself feel better, why won't you want to do that? Okay, I know we cannot wait for us to feel better to take action, move towards our goals or whatever, but it's also our responsibility to make sure if there is something that we can do for ourselves so that we can feel better. And when we feel better, when we feel happy and energetic and calm, I mean, we are at our best. Like, we can give our best performance, right? I mean, it's just no brainer for me. Okay, so that's one thing I have on here, like clean, organize and decorate all my spaces. So that's my work desk, my workspace, my kitchen needs to be organized a little more, and some other areas of my home that I really need to work on. So that's something I have been procrastinating on for quite some time, and that's what I need to work on, because I know it impacts my mental state. So that's really important for me. So that's a stretch for me, but I can do that, okay, to bridge that gap between where I am and where I want to be. So that's one thing. So again, just be honest with yourself. What is that you can do? What are the changes that you can make? So another thing that I have here is reading at least 2 to 3 books, because I have been slacking in that department. And I know that as a coach, I need to, like, my job is to guide people and counsel people and advise them, right, and make sure they reach their goals and those kind of things. And to be in a position like that, I really have to work on myself every single day. Okay, that doesn't mean that it has to be huge, but I know I need to be updating myself, evolving, like just evolving in general, and working on myself and on different areas of life. So that's a goal. That's not a goal, but that's what I want to do. Okay, so read like 2 to 3 books at least in the next 4 months. I'm not saying in a month, I'm saying in next 4 months. Okay, so that's one thing I have written. And another thing that I have written is setting intentions and doing my daily prayers. So you may be spiritual, you may be not, but for me, that's like my biggest source of strength. So for me to be mentally and emotionally strong, my spiritual practices are like a big thing for me. So that's what I have written. I have to be like little more disciplined in that department. So that's what I have written. And something for my like having daily and weekly skin and hair care routines. Like, I have a bit of them here and there, but again, if I say that I want better hair, but better skin and all of that, then I would need to put in the work. So these are little things that I can do for myself, but I have not been making them my priority, and that's what I need to do. So the next section we are working on is very interesting. Where will I waste my time? Okay, and I'm going to be super transparent with you. I think this is one page I can share everything that I have written. So be honest, just look at like last 1 month, last 2 months, where do you waste most of your time? And then I have also improvised on this. I have also written on the same page how to tackle it, because every time because what I'm trying to do is, like, every week at least once I go through these pages to make sure that I'm doing the things that I'm supposed to do. I'm not forgetting, okay, because writing things down is one thing, but like coming back to it again and again and just making sure that you're on track, that's another thing. And we're going to talk more about it. But here, where will I waste my time? And you might think, like, how is it a part of your vision? So your vision is not just your goal, okay? Your vision is not just your goal, okay? It's like the big picture you want to have for your life, for your business or whatever, okay? And to have that big picture, to make it a reality, there are a lot of other things that you need to take care of. It's not just like one goal and you're working towards it and it's done. No, it doesn't happen that way. There are little things that you have to see, that you have to make sure that they are in order, so that you can create that vision and that big picture into your reality. So that's why this is really, really important. Okay, so where will I waste my time? So I have written 4 things. I'll share that with you, being very transparent. Number 1 is social media. Of course, social media is like, I think we waste a lot of time, each one of us. So especially my work, like I was not really much into social media like 3 to 4 years ago. Okay, I used to not have that kind of time to spend on social media, as simple as that. But as of now, my work involves social media. Like right now we are on a social platform. Okay, so I need to like research like the trends and what people are looking for, how can I help, how can I serve, and all of that, right? What kind of content people want to see and all of those things. So I do my research, and like everyone else, I have the tendency to get caught up in like scrolling and all of that, and I have caught myself a lot of times where I realize that I'm just consuming content, I'm not creating content. Okay, so that's what one thing that I know that I waste my time here, and I have also written how I'm going to tackle that. So I have written like creating before consuming. So like I have made this mantra that before I research, before I check what's going on social media, I first need to create something. It could be a story, it could be a post, or it could be just me brainstorming something, whatever. But I have to make sure that I create before I start consuming content on social media, as simple as that. Another rule that I have made for myself, like it's not a rule, but it's like a strategy, a practical strategy that I can use to make sure that I don't waste my time over here. And it does not mean that I would never waste my time, but it's like to minimize that as much as we can. Okay, so another thing that I have written is having not looking at my phone before getting to bed, 60 minutes before getting to bed and 60 minutes after waking up. That's another thing. So another thing that I have written here is like everyone else, and this is like a big one for me, and that's being knocked down by emotional overwhelm. And emotional overwhelm could be because of a lot of reasons. It could be because of your health, it could be because of your relationships, it could be because of your work, it could be because of your living situation, it could be because of so many things. But and it's going to happen no matter what we do. But I realize that this is the like one of the number 1 inhibitors for me when it comes to my work or my productivity. So this is one thing I need to keep in check, and I think it happens with each one of us, but we just kind of get used to it. Like we kind of get used to our mood swings or not feeling good and all of those things, right? And that's where we mess up big time. So for me, this is a big one, and I know that I cannot really afford to waste my time because of not feeling good. As simple as that. Okay, so again, I have written down some practical way. These are not the things that like deemed to be good for you, working for you. These are things that I have done, I have seen the results. Okay, and that's why I know that I have to make sure I am intentional about incorporating these things into my routine, so that I can minimize this kind of emotional overwhelm as much as I can. Okay, so some of the things that I have written here is like doing my daily prayers and making sure I work out or at least move my body some way. Okay, and then like my daily planning and sticking to my plan. That's another thing. One thing I've written is less sugar, because that's what I have learned, that having too much sugar again can mess up with your mood and all of that. That's another topic. Okay, then I have written doing meditation and chakra balancing exercises. So again, that is something I'm not going to do every single day, but I have to make sure that I do it like at least once a week. Okay, or maybe doing breath work like once every 10 days, 15 days, something like that. So or anytime I'm feeling overwhelmed, I can do some of these exercises to make sure I can bring myself back to center, because that's really important. That's one thing I have written. Another thing that I have written is oversleeping. So I realized for the last few months I have been sleeping a lot. My sleeping schedule has been very erratic, and again we have this tendency to go into the downward spiral of beating ourselves up, and I was going that way as well, and I caught myself. I'm like, okay, fine, I have been sleeping a lot, my schedule has been like all over the place, but why is it happening and what can I do to fix it? Because if I stay in that mode of beating myself up for a long time, like why I'm not doing this, why I'm not doing that, or my schedule is messed up and all of that stuff, the longer it's going to take me to get back on track, and I lose time. So do not beat yourself up, just ask yourself where will you waste time and what can you do to fix that. So something I have written is like having no tea or coffee before bed, because I don't have coffee, but I do like to have like tea before, not before bed, but like after dinner. So I'm avoiding that now, and I'm just trying to think how can I have a consistent sleeping schedule so that I know I'm getting my sleep, required amount of sleep, at the same time I'm not oversleeping and that kind of stuff. So that's what you're going to write over here. Okay, now last three things quickly we are going to cover that. Similar to where will you waste your time and how can you eliminate that, we will write what will help me stay on track. Okay, so this is again really important. What will help me stay on track? So you have to ask yourself, what are things that have helped you in the past, some things that you have done and that has given you results. Just think of that. So for me, it's like, and again, it doesn't have to be like work related or routine related. It can be like little things. So for example, like of course for me, number one again is focusing on my domino, that is waking up at 5 p.m. That's number one thing for me as of now. And the next is practicing gratitude, because I have been slacking on that. Okay, so that's one thing I want to incorporate again. Okay, and another thing is intention setting and prayers. I think I mentioned this before, but that's what helps me keep on track. And yeah, daily and monthly planning and sticking to my plan. So some of the things, it might be the same for you, I don't know, but just be honest, like what can help you stay on track. So what can you do to be mentally, emotionally centered? Because that's the number one thing we are not on track. I think like two major reasons why we get off track is like if we are mentally or emotionally and you're physically overwhelmed. That's the number one reason. Number two is we are like we don't have the right vision, we're not taking the actions that are aligned with that vision. That's like the top two reasons why we get off track. So that's what I have. And again, if you get off track, it's okay. I mean, we are bound to get off track every now and then, and our responsibility is to bring ourselves back to the direction in we are supposed to go. And for that we are doing this vision setting exercise, right? Because this is a vision we have and this is a direction we need to be going. So, and again, as I said, it's not just one goal, it's a lot of things. So that's why we're doing this elaborate exercise here. Okay, so these are some of the things that I have written. Now, something that I'm like writing for the first time, and that is how will I celebrate? I learned this from a mentor, and I really love this idea, like having this in your vision. How will you celebrate? Like at the end of 4 months, if you are able to bring your vision to life, how are you going to celebrate? And write something that will really make you happy, something you have been really wanting to do, and probably you can still do, but it's like our brain loves a little reward system. Okay, so let's say I have something like going on a trip with my loved ones here on my how will I celebrate. That's one thing. And yeah, so you can write that. And last thing that you're going to write is what is your biggest goal. So biggest goal could be like, what is the overarching goal? What is the end result in simple terms? What is the end result that you are trying to achieve over the course of 4 months? And it can extend beyond 4 months as well. Okay, it's something that you're working for in the long term. So for me, that's right now, it's like healthy mind and body. That's number one. Like seriously, that's number one. And the second thing is, of course, working on my business, my personal brand, like creating a strong personal brand. Like I have a separate vision for my business. That's out of the scope of this video, but that's what I want to share, that I have a different vision for specifically for my business. So that's what my like top 2 biggest goals that I'm working on for the long term. And tomorrow we are going to dive deeper into what are the different ways people set vision for them, because we all think differently. Okay, yes, we have covered some general things, but we all think about like vision and goals in different ways. So I've had some important some interesting breakthroughs in this, and that's why I want to share that with you. So that's what we're going to do tomorrow. So make sure you subscribe, and if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments down below. I would really love to help you out. And if you want to have a one-on-one conversation, if you want to learn more about like how this works, or if you get stuck somewhere, then please feel free to reach out. There's a link in the description box. You can book a free 30-minute call with me, and you can have your questions answered. So you can do that, and you can head over to Instagram and send me a message if you just want to chat. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.